I'm Nance L Schick. I'm a mediator and a holistic business attorney based in New York City. I'm also a former human resources supervisor and sports agent. Now I represent businesses of all sizes, including sole proprietorships like me. This includes actors, musicians, and writers, as well as large multinational corporations. For more than 20 years, I've listened to the struggles of the people within these organizations, as professionals and as individuals. I've ached with them when their hearts have hurt. I've wanted to give them something that could make life better when they have forgotten how strong and wonderful they are. I developed this third-year conflict resolution program for that purpose, to empower others to resolve any conflict that arises in their lives. I want that for you too, and I'm happy that you're giving me some of your valuable time. You might be wondering about the name I chose for the program. Why third ear? In many spiritual traditions, the third eye is discussed as a gateway to enlightenment. It gives you access to a higher self that transcends the limitations of the human condition. In similar ways, your third ear is the gateway to understanding and connection. This allows you to transcend the limitations of conflict. Your third ear is in your heart. Notice that it's in the very spelling of the word, H-E-A-R-T. That's why it was the perfect name for this conflict resolution program, about listening with compassion. The key principles of this program are: we all experience conflict in our relationships, with our bodies and our finances, with our words, at home, at work, in our communities, and in our everyday activities. We all try to avoid conflict when we feel we can't handle it skillfully. We blatantly avoid people or situations we believe might trigger conflict. We withdraw from groups, quit our jobs, and move out of our homes. We project issues with one person onto others unrelated to those issues. We become aggressive, passive, or build other protective barriers. We live in denial, forcing our true feelings to find release in workaholism, obsessions, overspending, weight gain, or other addiction. Conflict is a natural part of living. There will always be conflicts we can't avoid. The weather is going to change your plans. It might even cause destruction. There will be accidents and traffic jams. And not everyone is going to like you or agree with you all of the time. Rather than pretending you can avoid all conflict, learn to master resolution and whatever life throws at you. Clear your mind. In conflict resolution, there is no place for assumptions or opposites. There is no right versus wrong, good versus bad, or anything along those lines. Instead, we focus on the connection that we once accepted wholeheartedly, and we rebuild it in a way that works under the current circumstances. No one has to lose. No one has to be punished. Often, the dispute itself has been punishment enough. And if you must assume something, I'll allow you one assumption, and that is to assume you know nothing about anything. There is an infinite amount of knowledge in the world. You can't possibly have all the answers. No one can. Listen with your third ear. Hear what every person has to say, yet coach them to specificity. Practice active listening. Summarize others' comments and confirm that you understood what they intended to communicate. Again, don't assume. Be hard of hearing, paying attention to changes in tone, pace, and verbiage. They often indicate the interest people have in their conflicts, which is again a gateway to understanding and resolution. As you'll learn throughout this program, something as simple as the verb and tense chosen can give you access to new understanding and new opportunities for resolution. Free the emotions. Many of us have been trained to deny our emotions so much that we can only feel them. We can't identify them effectively. And once we can understand them, we can allow them to pass through so that they are no longer a part of the dispute. All of these principles are constantly at work in this third ear program, which actually only requires 5 action steps. As with many things in life, you will learn that although the steps appear simple in theory, they become difficult to apply until you can reprogram your brain to operate from more effective principles than those that got you in the current conflict. Practice is required for mastery. So how do you use mediation techniques to resolve any conflict? Step 1. Get clear on what the conflict is. Give each person involved no more than 2 minutes to summarize his or her view of the conflict. This forces them to focus on what is really upsetting them. And if your conflict is with yourself, you can still use this technique to clarify the issue. The suggested format for the summary, very simple. Who disagrees with who about what? For example, Adam and Eve disagree about whether they should eat the apples from the tree in the garden. Or, if it's an internal conflict, I disagree at times with myself about the actions supposedly necessary to make more money. Stop. We don't need a recitation of the facts, whether they're real or perceived. We just need to know where the disagreement is based. Notice that the verbs used are in the present tense. This is intended to get you present to what is going on for you in this moment, not what you think happened. If you use past tense verbs, you're likely stuck in the past and stating what you believe is a fact. You focus on what someone did, trying to persuade others that you were right. Remember, there is no right or wrong in conflict resolution. Release any assumptions, judgments, and desires to punish. Step 2. Have each person briefly describe his or her ideal resolution scenario. Limit them to 5 minutes so they can stay focused on the resolution, not on the past and not on winning. If they're hesitant or resigned, ask some questions such as, if you could have any resolution you want, what would it be? When you put yourself in this situation or began the relationship that resulted in the dispute, what did you think it would be like? What were you expecting? What did you really want? Could you still have that? How? What's stopping you from having it go the way you want? What new actions could you take to get a result different from the one you have? Step 3. After brainstorming on the vast number of actions that could be taken, choose some that are SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistically high, and time sensitive. Then memorialize in writing the actions that you're going to take and state them in declaratory language. For example, Adam will plant his own apple tree tomorrow. Eve will make a trip to the orchard this weekend. I will take a personal finance class next month to learn about my options for making more money. Step 4. Take action for the results. If the actions taken were unsuccessful, have each involved person report what action was taken, why it was unsuccessful, what new action, if taken, would make it more successful. This is another seemingly simple step, but it is often the one that we fail to take. And it's sometimes the one that got us in conflict in the first place. We all forget to set aside time in our busy schedules to make things happen. We underestimate the amount of time it will take. We get frustrated because the action we agreed to take is not producing the result we wanted. We don't want to share the results because we don't see that we got any. Do it anyway. Is to stay on par. Plan, act, revise, and repeat action steps as necessary until you eliminate or transform the conflict. There's nothing to revise or repeat if you haven't taken any action. You're not going to get the perfect result from the first action you take every time. But if you do what you say you're going to do, you will know whether at least one of the actions will produce the result you want. You can either resolve the conflict with that action, or you can eliminate it as a potential solution. If you do nothing, you can hide out and you can take your awareness away from the conflict, but you won't make the conflict itself disappear. You won't avoid the conflict. You'll simply postpone it, probably until an even more inconvenient time. Allow yourself and your life to be a little imperfect. Learn to handle conflict with confidence and skill, instead of pretending you can avoid it entirely. In 2013, you'll have several opportunities to practice your conflict resolution skills. All you have to do is keep your subscription to my email newsletter, which accompanied this audio program. Each month, we'll choose an area of life in which many people experience conflicts. Each week within that month, you'll be able to listen to or read an application of the third-year conflict resolution program within that life area. If you want some help applying the process, you can attend a live workshop with me or get your coaching on the post-workshop telecast if you can't attend in person. There are also workbooks and a daily planner to activate your third ear and focus your everyday actions on what is most important to you. I personally have been using this program throughout its development, and I am thrilled to finally share it with you because you are among what's most important to me. Thank you for taking the time to listen and for allowing me into your world. I look forward to creating with you a world that gives us all lives even more wonderful than we believe possible.